Hello and welcome back to Grim Survival. In this particular video I'm going to show you my butcher haul. We went to a local butcher shop in Plainfield, Indiana. Best thing about it, from my opinion, is nobody in the entire place had on a mask, and I didn't have to wear one, so I was perfectly happy walking into the place. I actually thanked the people in there for not making me put one on and not having one on themselves. It was a very good shopping experience, you could say. I'm going to show you in this next clip right about here what I had picked up from the butcher, and then we'll talk about that.
All right, what did we have? 4 pounds of ground beef. That was 1 pound. 2 T-bone steaks. There's more ground beef. I'm transferring all of this to a freezer bag for obvious reasons. That's a whole chicken. That requires 2 hands. Whole chicken. How many pounds of wings was that? It was like 2 pounds of wings, I think. 2 whole chicken breasts. More ground beef. There's 2 more chicken breasts. More ground beef. 2 ribeyes. Chuck roast. One of those. I have no idea what that is. Cutlets. Cube steak and more cutlets. Okay. And that is today's meat preps.
Alright, as you've seen, I got quite a bit of meat. I don't remember exactly how many pounds there was, and I didn't bother to go back to the video clip to add it all up, but you know, I got quite a bit of ground beef. I got ribeye steaks, chuck roast, I had chicken breast, and basically I got the no pork package that they were offering. In total, all the meat you've seen there came to $110. So why buy meat from a butcher? For one, it's fresher. It really is. It's freshly cut and it's very fresh there. It's actually, in my opinion, a lot better quality than you get from places like Walmart or your local grocery store. I mean, there are a lot of local grocery stores that have butchers inside their facility, but not all of them. And I still think a local butcher would get better meat quality, better choices, basically, for the meat that they process in that facility. So I definitely recommend, if you've never been to a butcher, you should definitely go. I didn't get any videos of the inside of the shop because a lot of people frown upon that, but we'll see if they'll let me next time I go in there, and yeah, I'll take the camera with next time. But that being said, small businesses. More small businesses have been killed by the pandemic than people, in my opinion. I know that's probably not a good thing to say. If anybody knows anyone who has gone that route, I guess is the best way to put it. Probably not the best way to put it, but the best way YouTube will let me put it. If anybody has passed away, I guess, from the virus, you may not agree with me. You may not, but I can tell you with the 99% survival rate that it currently has, and that is definitely a lot higher than the survival rate of small businesses. So it is very important for us as a nation right now to support small businesses, especially ones that are not forcing us to do the will of the government. So if they, you know, like I said, I was not even asked or spoken to about a mouth diaper the entire time I was in there, and I did thank the people in there because none of them had one on. And you know, I was walking to the door and I'm like, I really hope I could go in here, because if they turn me away, man, I'm not buying anything from these people. And this was a small shop. It's a small local shop in Plainfield, Indiana. I would definitely recommend it to anyone in the Indiana area. If you want more information on it, just send me an email and I will send you the information on where to go. But like I said, any small business that is not forcing us to bend to the will of you know who, then yeah, we should definitely support these people. These people need our support. It's the only way they're going to stay open and stay operating, because so many small businesses have just gone completely out of business. I can give you a few examples. One of them being a car lot, which you don't think would have this issue, but it did. It was a local buy here, pay here type of place in my area. It's one that I actually purchased the Durango I drive from. They are out of business now. They completely shut down. The car lot is empty and the building has a for sale sign on it. Oddly enough, right across the road from that building, a brand new warehouse has gone up. This is like warehouse number 9 million or some ridiculous number like that. I'm exaggerating quite a bit, but still, in my area, in the Plainfield, Indiana area, I can tell you there's been so many warehouses going up that it's not even possible for them to fill them all. Not even remotely possible. And they just continually build them. It reminds me of the housing crash back in 2008, where they just kept building and building and building, and nobody could. It just caused a big problem. They built so many houses and things just fell apart, and this to me is very reminiscent of that, because they're just building so many of these warehouses over and over again, and they're not even using them. When you drive through the area, you'll see at least a dozen of these giant buildings with for lease signs on them or space for rent signs on them. It's just completely ridiculous. And I've looked into how much it costs for square footage in places like this just out of curiosity, and the price is just outrageous. It really is. I mean, only a very large corporation could afford this kind of thing. It's really just ridiculous. Why are they still building these things? I just don't understand it personally. And they are. There's still new ones going up even right now with snow on the ground. They're still out there building these things. I don't know. I don't understand it. I really don't. It's big business wasting money for no reason from my point of view. Anyway, this was a quick video just to show you the meat preps and talk about meat prepping in general. So let's just talk about that for just a second. It's very important to store meat. It's very important. Now, in a grid down situation in the dead of winter, you can still keep that meat fairly frozen, if depending on your area. Obviously this is going to vary area by area, but in my area the temperatures are staying right around freezing for the most part. It's climbing up into the 40s in the next couple of days, but that's still refrigerator temperature. And you can drag a deep freezer like the one I have outside. You can, and you can duct tape the ring around it, the seal, and that will hold the temperature in there a lot longer. If you have access to an ice machine, if you store a lot of ice in your freezer, just for that fact, if a grid down situation does happen, the ice is actually going to help preserve and keep everything frozen even longer. So you can potentially keep it frozen for a good amount of time. If you live in the greater north areas, Canada, northern parts of the United States, Alaska, anywhere like that, that's not an issue. You can keep things frozen for several months without problems. If you can't, for some reason, if you live in the southern states or someplace where it's warmer, there are a lot of videos on how to build makeshift smokers. You can build them with sticks and a tarp. You can build solar dehydrators. I have one made out of a Pringles can. The video is somewhere. You can make these things. You can preserve meat. You can preserve it for a long time if you know how to do it. So these are skills we need to learn now. If we haven't learned them already, I've learned. If you haven't learned them already, you need to start learning. You can pick up books. I highly recommend hard copies of all your information. If you have a lot of digital information, get a printer and start printing that out, or find a printer and start printing that out, because in the event that everything falls apart, you have no access to internet, which that's probably going to happen. They are building off switches on these things, and they have the ability to just shut it down. There's the hacking that happened not too long ago, where the Chinese nationals were caught hacking telecommunications. This affects your internet service. I mean, like even Alaska Prepper will tell you, your device, your phone, your tablet, these things have a shelf life, and that shelf life is typically a lot shorter than your food storage. Typically. So keep that in mind. Electronics, you cannot keep them going forever. You can't. So hard copies, get books, learn how to preserve your meat. You can do this over a fire in your yard with a tarp and some sticks. I've seen it done. I haven't tested it yet, but when I do, you will be right there with me, because I am intending on testing that. I really am, because I've never done it. I have smoked meat before in a small smoker. I don't no longer own that smoker, so I will have to build one, obviously, but you can preserve your meat. You really can. Anyone with a dehydrator, even right now, you can start making your own jerky. You can do this in an oven. Anybody with an oven can do this. You really can. So practice these skills right now. If you practice them now, when the time comes, or if the time comes where you no longer have access to, say, an oven or whatever implement you're using to preserve meat, if you practice the alternate methods, the off-grid style methods, then you will be able to preserve things when your freezer no longer works. If that happens, you will be able to take the meat out of the freezer, process it down to smaller pieces, and hang it up, dry it out with smoke, and there you go. You have preserved meat. Now, the varies on how long you can preserve meat by smoking it. It varies greatly. So one thing I will recommend, these are hand pump vacuum seal bags. You just put the little plastic pump right there and you pump the air out of it. So you could put your preserved meat in one of these. This thing's been like this for about a month now. The seal is fine. It's never broken the seal. I'm having no problems with it. Very impressed with it. GrimSurvival.store, link in the description if you are looking for those. Alright, that's my commercial for the day. I am almost done with the Gremlin shirt. Should be online by tomorrow. Should. We'll see, but should. Anyway, this has been James with Grim Survival. Thank you for all that you do. I couldn't do this without you guys. I really couldn't. And you know what? I'll see you next time.